a black BMW sedan in and out of lanes and near TC, now speeding.
3, just past Moore Park in the number 2 lane.
Britney Spears was arrested for a DUI after driving erratically and being in possession of pills. But Britney's arrest is much more complicated than just that because her manager Kate Hudson, her mother Lynn Spears, and both of her sons seem to be in on some kind of plan to take over Britney's life and to force her into treatment. So, is Britney really struggling with her drinking, or is this just another setup? Britney Spears was arrested, but I think that her arrest is much more complicated than just a DUI. I think that there's a connection between her arrest and her recent catalog sale and her team setting her up to fail. I'm not trying to be a blinded Britney Spears supporter here. I do think that she did something wrong here. She should not be operating a vehicle while under the influence. And all the reports say that Britney was super regretful and embarrassed over the entire thing. But let's walk through every moment because around 8:48 p.m. there was a report that someone had called in Britney Spears' vehicle driving on the 101 erratically at a high speed. So we don't know who this person is that called to police, but they got this report and we do have some of the audio of the dispatch.
A black sedan, erratic braking, swerving, and driving with no taillight.
483, driver is out of the vehicle, we're code 4, on a
5483, driver out of the vehicle, code 4.
Is there a DRE available?
5471 requesting a DRE. Is there anyone in Ventura with the DRE?
Ventura 3140, I'm a DRE. I want to bring her to the office. 483, can you start 1185 for a BMW 430i?
1185 BMW 430i. It's going to be Roy.
So, as soon as the police got that tip, they were on their way to go and get whoever this was driving this vehicle, probably not knowing that it was Britney Spears. Britney almost got away, too. She was taking the Thousand Oaks exit, which is where she lives, off of the 101. It was around 9:30, and she was pulled over. Then, she had to do several sobriety tests until she was arrested and booked into the Ventura County Jail. Of course, I don't support any kind of drug use or drinking and driving. I think that that is a major problem, but unfortunately, it happens every single day. There's a lot of DUIs happening in Los Angeles, probably at every moment. And I think it's interesting that the police decided to do a press conference over Britney's case. I mean, I get it. She is a public person. She's famous. So maybe that's why they did this press hearing. But I also feel like they're really trying to beat her down in this moment because why do we need the sheriff's office to make a statement on this?
Ms. Spears showed signs of impairment and submitted to a series of field sobriety tests. Ms. Spears was subsequently arrested for a violation of California Vehicle Code Section 23152G, driving under the influence of a combination of drugs and alcohol, and booked into the Ventura County Main Jail. This incident is still under investigation. Chemical tests are still pending.
This person asks, why is there a press conference? I want to see this same energy for JT Justin Timberlake. Remember when he was arrested under the influence? Release the body cam of Justin Timberlake right now, this person says. And leave Britney alone. Britney was booked into jail. Her booking sheet revealed that this happened around 3 a.m. on Thursday morning. She was then released 3 hours later at 6 a.m. What I don't love about this timeline is that there are murky details because the call was received at 8:48 p.m. She was pulled over at 9:30. So almost an hour later, supposedly she was taken to the hospital and they were testing her blood for her alcohol content. Remember, the legal limit is 0.8. She supposedly had a 0.6, which is below the legal limit. There are even some reports suggesting that that time window between 8:48 and 9:30 was actually a chase. That they were trying to chase down Britney's car. And I just don't think that that's what happened. But if it is what happened, then she's, running away for some reason because she's got something to hide.
According to authorities, she was driving erratically, leading to an hour-long chase. Now her own rep is saying she needs help.
Police have not released the results of her testing, but TMZ reported that her people said that it was a 0.6. So, even though she was under the legal limit, it looks like she still could get charged for erratic driving or possibly mixing substances. Authorities are also investigating pills that were allegedly found in possession of Britney Spears after her arrest. The pills, which are alleged to be Adderall, were obtained by Britney in Mexico, according to TMZ. However, authorities are conducting tests to assert whether the pills are true pure Adderall or laced with other drugs. This comes after reports that Adderall obtained in Mexico contains fentanyl, cocaine, or meth. Sources say that TMZ claims that Britney goes to Mexico a lot. So maybe part of the reason why she goes on these trips is to get this medication. It's also been revealed that Britney was reportedly extremely emotional during her booking and was crying a lot throughout the process. That just breaks my heart because she's trying so hard to keep it together with everything against her. I mean, keep in mind this woman has PTSD. She's like probably paranoid, struggling. She cannot trust anyone, and she doesn't want to let anyone down, especially her son. So, I can understand why she is so emotional in this.
Like anybody who knows anything about Britney's story knows that police, hospitals, that's all very triggering for her. Police have not released Britney's blood alcohol content, but of course TMZ has sources and claimed that Britney's was below the legal limit at 0.06. Again, if you know anything about Britney's story, you know that she was in a hospital when her dad and Lou Taylor allegedly went to the courthouse and got her into a conservatorship.
A source close to Britney says that she's emotional and regretful about the situation. She's also embarrassed because of how it could affect her sons. She loves him very much and never wants them to feel like she's letting them down. Following Britney's arrest, it looks like a representative shared that her sons will be by her side as they hope to get her through this difficult phase. Quote, "Her boys are going to be spending time with her. Her loved ones are going to come up with an overdue needed plan. Plan to set her up for success and well-being plan." Okay, I'm a little caught off guard. Plan sounds like a conservatorship. Are her sons about to put her into a conservatorship? But Britney's close manager, Kate Hudson, I feel like he could be part of the problem. He's at least not done great things for his client. I feel like Britney is constantly at war with him. I mean, he kind of got exiled from the entertainment industry because he was fired from one of the major agencies for supposedly using his power to go and hook up with guys. That is what the report said online. It's not my experience. But Kate actually put out a statement after Britney's arrest, and it just makes her look bad. Kate says that this is an unfortunate incident that is completely inexcusable. Britney's going to take the right steps and comply with the law, and hopefully this can be the first step in a long overdue change that needs to occur in Britney's life. He said Kate had that statement ready to go. Huh? It kind of seems like this was a setup. I mean, maybe that's a conspiracy here. Britney does have court on May 4th. May the 4th be with her on that date. But I want to talk about some of the details. So, the caller said that the car was moving very fast, braking suddenly and swerving across the lanes. They also mentioned the vehicle did not have a working taillight. Who is the one that actually called on Britney Spears at 8:48? And why did it take almost an hour?
Somebody called to report someone driving and weaving out of the freeway in Ventura County. So she wasn't just spotted by a police officer, somebody called. What I'm seeing is a lot of people think that this was a setup by an inside person.
Sources familiar with the situation and close to Britney want the judge to order her into a program rather than to sentence her to any time behind bars for the DUI. We're told people close to her, Cade, they believe that this could be a pivotal moment, one where the focus shifts to getting her help and support instead of punishment. This person on Reddit writes, "I worry that her story will not have a nice ending. She really needs help, and those close to her just use her for money, it seems." Honestly, it's not a far-fetched statement. I do think that a lot of people in her life are profiting from her. And this conservatorship going away, it did not help the situation. I feel like these people want their money again. And if they could set Britney into a place to where she doesn't have control over her finances, they can go and do the same thing all over again, especially now that she sold her catalog for what, $200 million.
Britney's lucky it was only a DUI and something not much more tragic. Let's be real, we have to acknowledge that fact. Britney Spears is not well. We've all watched Britney struggle for decades now with severe mental health issues on and off. This woman has been scrutinized in the public eye since I was a little girl. I truly hope that she gets the help she desperately needs and deserves.
While she was under a conservatorship, emails show that Epstein and Mark Tramo were discussing funding for a project related to Britney. Britney's child custody issues were also part of the discussion. Mark worked at the UCLA Geffen School of Medicine, and during that time Britney was held at the UCLA Resnick Neuropsychiatric Hospital and was reportedly not allowed to leave. In one exchange, Jeffrey wrote to Mark saying, "You're great. Sorry for the typos." Mark responded by thanking Jeffrey for taking the time to call and said he hoped he hadn't been too presumptuous. He added that he thought he should at least ask for support. Mark then explained that he was attaching his CV in hopes that Jeffrey might consider supporting him, noting that a salary would free him up to write grants. He also mentioned that someone he knew at Universal Music had offered to send Britney Spears to a neonatal ICU project. That raises a lot of questions. What project does that even mean? The email also referenced the Florida Science Foundation in 2009 and mentioned that there was a custody issue surrounding Britney's children. So, why was all of that part of the conversation? And why was Epstein discussing Britney Spears at all? These references leave many people wondering about the context of those discussions.
Britney Spears is mentioned in the Epstein files, but I need your help to understand the context of this email. This email was sent from Mark Tramo to Jeffrey Epstein back in 2011. And before we even read the email, who is Mark Tramo? He's an adjunct professor at UCLA who specializes in neurology and music-related research. But when you search Mark Tramo, you will also see headlines like this: UCLA professor sparks furor online over emails to Jeffrey Epstein. So of course, I wanted to know what the outrage was over, so I searched his name, 1,091 results, including an email that he sent to Jeffrey Epstein in 2017, and I'll just let you read that PS yourself about what will make babies suck on a pacifier more vigorously. Highly disturbing to me, but let's talk about the Britney Spears mention. Now, in the Epstein files, you can find emails that are duplicates of each other, but different things are redacted. That happened with this email. So in this version, you're going to see this redaction, but another version that is not redacted. So we'll read this version. Now pause it to read this entire email. I just want to focus on the Britney Spears part together. So starting up here with the salary would free me up. The salary would free me up to write some grants, e.g. my new pal at Universal Music has offered to send Britney Spears the neonatal ICU project I sent the Florida Science Foundation in 2009, since he is her publisher, but time has been prohibiting me from pursuing it. And then what I skipped was parentheses part, and this is the part that was redacted in the other copy. There's a custody issue surrounding her kids. Now most of us know that there was a custody issue surrounding her kids in 2011 because the conservatorship that she was in for years started in 2008. So let's look at that timeline quickly. This is an article from biography.com that goes through the timeline of Britney Spears' conservatorship. It outlines that her offbeat behavior started in 2007, in 2008 she was hospitalized, and 2008 again is when the conservatorship started, and she compared it to being in jail. So not only were there custody issues going on at that time, but she also had little to no control over her life, her finances, her contracts, what she was going and doing. She was being controlled like a mannequin. So why would something be sent to her? And especially one of my first questions was, why would Britney Spears be receiving a neonatal ICU project that was previously sent to the Florida Science Foundation? I was always a fan of Britney Spears, but I don't think she has a medical background. So then I did some digging to try to understand why she would be receiving this. So I found Mark Tramo auditory stimulation for premature babies in neonatal intensive care units. And a reminder from who Mark Tramo is, he specializes in neurology and music-related research. So my best guess on what this email really means, Mark Tramo was looking for an investment from Epstein for this project, and he also wanted a celebrity or musician to be the face of it, and he hoped that that would be Britney Spears, even though she was currently living through hell, having custody issues, and so much more. So my guess is that when he says they're going to send it to Britney Spears, they mean whoever was controlling what Britney Spears did and did not do. But the fact that it's coming from Mark Tramo, who also has...
Furthermore, there is also an image people reference, a painting reportedly from his island. In the image, there appears to be a woman lying on a bed, and some viewers believe the figure resembles Britney Spears. Because of that resemblance, some people speculate about what the painting could represent, and whether it has any connection to the discussions mentioned in those emails. This has led to a lot of questions. For example, some people wonder why Britney would be referenced in relation to a neonatal ICU project if she had already had children. Others speculate about whether the reference could have meant something different, or if it may simply be a misunderstanding of the project being discussed. During her conservatorship, Britney was also reportedly given significant amounts of lithium and remained under strict control for many years. Because of that, some people question why her name appears in discussions about projects and custody issues involving her children. For some observers, these details raise broader concerns about what may have been happening around her at the time. People have also pointed to certain images Britney has posted over the years, where she appears staged or symbolic, and interpreted them as possible expressions of what she was experiencing. As a result, some believe the situation surrounding Britney during that period may have been more complex than it first appeared. Subscribe Trending Stories and comment your thoughts below.